What are the best balance exercises for seniors? And why are balance exercises even important? I'm going to tell you all about it in this video. My name is Eirk, and I help people get out of pain and maintain their muscles. I work with a fair amount of seniors as well as middle-aged adults, and balance is a problem for everybody. Just like muscle loss, we don't even realize that we've lost our balance until miraculously we fall. Falling and fracturing a wrist, a hip, an ankle, a shoulder is extremely common, and it could set you back for months, even years in fact. So working on our balance is very, very important. I'm going to say two things. Number one, we want to make sure that the muscles that we utilize in balance training are strong. And number two, we want to practice these balance exercises. Most of what we think of in balance training is really about the coordination of muscles, certain muscles kicking in at certain times. That timing is also benefited by the reactivity of the muscles. Can muscles respond on demand when they need to? The thing is as we get older and our muscular system becomes more and more dysfunctional, those are two qualities that we actually lose. We lose the ability to contract, and we lose the ability to respond adequately to our environment. This is why we want to practice these things on our own, so that when we're walking around, we hit a curb, we're walking up the steps and we missed it, whatever the thing, we don't lose our balance, fall, and set ourselves back. Now, being able to balance is very crucial not only for the senior population, but for all of us throughout our life. And if we practice these early versus trying to practice these later, we set ourselves up for success. Now, in these exercises that I'm going to show you, I would recommend that you have access to a chair, a countertop, a table, something that you can hold on to. You don't want to go just all on your own right off the bat. I would even put a second chair on the other side of you if balance is a real challenge. I also want you to have access to something like a wall so that you can run your hands down it when we start to move some sort of the dynamic exercises that you don't lose your balance. Being able to balance over your feet is going to have so much to do with the strength and reactivity of your foot and ankle. We put ourselves in shoes. Many people are in orthotics and really thick shoes like some of these Hokas and things, and we're walking on pillows. Our feet literally don't have the ability to react to the ground. So working with your foot and ankle and barefoot, I've always said, is extremely important. If you catch yourself in the morning, you have to put your shoes on to walk through your house, I would tell you that you're not managing your feet very well, and you are a prime candidate for losing your balance. If you are going to try taking off your shoes and doing this video, I would definitely recommend progressing this over time. You might only be able to do this for a few seconds or minutes before you can do it for a longer period of time as the feet get stronger. Especially just for this exercise, if you can take off your socks and shoes, notice your feet themselves. Do you have any space between your feet? Are you dealing with bunions or arthritic changes? That's going to actually make balance work a lot harder. So working on the health of these joints is crucial. I want you to start by just shifting your weight. As we begin to shift our weight, let's just go from one foot to the other. And I would definitely, again, have one or two chairs to hold on to, so that if you do start to lose your balance, you can recover. Over time, I want you to start getting lighter on the chair. So as you shift your weight to one leg, notice the requirements at the foot, the ankle, the knee, and the hip. Also, notice if you're someone that tends to round your back and lean forward. This is particularly common for people that have had arthritic changes in their back. If I'm leaning over, it's going to change my center of mass and greatly affect my balance. So now as we shift from one side to the other, I want you to notice which side now am I having a harder time balancing on. It's probably your weaker side. I'm going to start slowing this down now, so I'm spending a little bit more time on one side and then quickly shifting to the other. Now, as we shift our weight, I want to begin by actually picking up a foot. As we pick up a foot, I'm going to take my foot and actually step it out in front of me. And when you do that, your whole body is going to shift in space. Now, as we pick up that foot and bring it back, we're right back into home base. Notice the space that you have between your feet. Now let's shift it over here, pick up that foot, move into a heel toe shift and hold that for a moment. Then can you shift your weight back onto that standing leg and move it. Now, a lot of this is coming from strength in our outer hips. So working on strengthening those gluteus medius muscles will really help you in these exercises. So let's do this a couple more times as I shift forward and then shift back. Now, if you've already figured out that this is a real challenge for you, you don't need to progress to some of the exercises that we're going to do further. If you do, however, make sure you've got that chair in place. Let's do this one more time. Now I'm going to progress this exercise to what I like to call the tandem stance. So as I pick up the leg now, I'm going to cross over my body's midline and bring my feet heel-toe. Now this is going to make my surface area in my balance smaller. So tendency for people to feel like they're going to fall from side to side. So again, as I pick up that foot, I'm going to bring it in front, holding it, and then bring it back down. Now it's one thing for muscles to be able to contract and fire on demand. That's important, and that's what we're working on right now. But the next is, can I sustain that contraction? So let's try that next. As I bring that foot up off the floor, I'm bringing that foot out in front of me. Now as I bring the leg down on the ground, I'm going to try to let go of the chair and see if I can balance for anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds. Then if you need to, grab the chair and come back to home base. Let's do the same thing on the other side. I pick up my foot, bring it out in front. See if you can let go of your support, find your balance, and then bring it right back in. Now, if you want to, you can even try doing this without help from the chair whatsoever. Just picking up your foot and coming right back in. And you are going to feel a lot of little wobbly sensations in your feet, your ankles, and your toes. So let's try doing the same thing now, going backwards. And this is tough because we typically don't walk backwards, right? So as I pick up my left leg, I'm just going to start by stepping straight back. And I'm having to shift my center of mass behind me, holding that, and then picking that up and going back in the center. This is also great for foot and ankle mobility. Stepping back, we go from the ball of the foot into the heel and hold it. Then I'm shifting off and coming right back into the center. Let's do that one more time, shifting it back. Now, if you're finding that to be really challenging, I would definitely what I call stay close to home, right? Staying close to home might mean I'm just stepping a little bit back before I step a lot back. The wider I step back, the harder it is to get back to home. Now, when you're ready, I pick up that foot and I cross, bringing my toe even with my heel. I'm back in my tandem stance. Then I pick it up and I go right back into the center. Changing sides, notice if you have a deficit on one side but not on the other. All of these things are great things to understand about yourself. You should be working on your body all the time. Good. Working on standing balance as a senior should be something that you should incorporate into your life all the time. All right, so now as I start to pick up my speed, I'm just going to shift to the side and back, shift to the side and back 2 more times, shift to the side, and now let's train our sustainability. So as I step it back now, I'm going to hold it there, hold my balance, and then see if potentially I could let go of the chair. Hold that for 5 to 10 seconds, bring it back and rest. Pick up that foot again, cross behind the other leg. Toe to heel alignment. We're now almost walking on a tightrope, taking the hands away from the chair or just lightly touching the chair. And then bringing that back to the center. One more time as we shift that back, let's just notice if over time that begins to improve. If you need to, keep the legs closer together. Now, we don't have any resistance going across the body right now, but we're trying to actually play around with changing our base of support, which is one of our biggest balance challenges that we have. All right, so now let's try what I like to call around the world. I want you to take your outer foot. We're just going to bring that foot in front, pick it up and take it to the side, pick it up and take it to the back, and then back out to the side. So let's try that again. I'm going to the front, to the side, to the back, and to the side. Now, as we're going this, I want you to start getting lighter on the chair. And if you notice, what I'm doing is I'm trying to work on the sustainability in this hip, knee, and ankle to hold me up while my center of mass is actually shifting. Every time my leg changes positions, certain muscles in my trunk and spine and hips are actually having to react, right? And over time, you might actually be able to move a little bit wider, even starting to cross that leg over, and then maybe over time, letting go of your support entirely. Again, don't get so challenged that you feel like you have no other ability to do this exercise and you fall. You want to always have a chair close by, right? These are just ideas. You don't even have to go here if this is not where you are right now. So let's just change sides. I'm actually going to pick up my chair to make it a little bit more comfortable. So again, I'm on a different leg now. So I'm going to draw that hip in and up. Let's take that foot out in front, hold it, and then we take it out to the side. And then we take it to the back. And just notice as you're going through this balance exercise, what's happening in your standing foot. Are you able to transfer your energy from the front of the foot to the back of the foot? How about that hip? Are you able to sustain that balance? And then as I start to pick up my speed, I'm having to react a lot quicker, right? This standing leg has to respond to wherever the mass of this other leg is sitting in space. Good. I'm going to start getting lighter on my chair now, so I'm really working on that standing balance. And then if you're feeling really confident, take it all into one motion, maybe even adding a crossing over. Now this is where typically people begin to collapse in that hip, and this is one of the first things that causes people to fall. That hip collapses, they can't recover, and pretty soon we're on the ground. Now if you like, see if you can let go, and I definitely am having a harder time on this side. I can feel it, so I want to make sure my chair is close by so that I always have this option. All right. Now, as we're going kind of through this dynamic balance, go ahead and shake your feet out. I'm just going to put this chair off to the side, and I'm now going to transfer to the wall. Now, coming into more of a tandem balance, make sure you have something to hold on to. I want you to imagine that you're on a sidewalk or a rope, and you have to take a walk. So as I start, I'm going to bring one foot in front of the other from a heel-toe alignment. Then I'm shifting my weight, pick up the other foot, and see if you can step it in front again. Now this is actually a lot harder than it looks, and what you're seeing is that your body wants to sway from side to side. Now the word balance, standing balance, is literally trying to stay in the middle, right? Trying to stay in the middle. So as I flip it around, I'm going heel to toe and heel to toe. And if you like, hold each position just a little bit longer. That way, you have some time to feel that out. Over time, you can start to actually move a little bit faster, something like this, maybe even coming off the wall. It's always important to try one challenge at a time, right? If we do too many challenges at once, it overloads our nervous system, and again, we're going to have an unsuccessful experience. So again, taking one foot in front of the other. Now, one thing that you can do is walking backwards. I'm not a huge fan of this. I know it's very popular in physical therapy. We don't necessarily walk backwards, but for balance and coordination, let's try it. So again, as I walk back, this is definitely one that I want to have a wall close by because I can't tell where I'm going. So many times we just don't know what's happening from behind the body. But I will say that doing this exercise will help you to sit up a little straighter. Then I could follow that with a forward walk, going forward and back. And eventually taking my hand away from the wall. Now, if you want to go faster or slower, I highly recommend that you do that just to progress this exercise. The more that we practice it in our homes, in a safe position, the less likely we are to suffer from a fall out in the real world. You might even want to consider doing this with some sort of a mat around you, so if you were to fall, it's not going to hurt. All right. Now, for my last two exercises, I definitely want to show this idea of standing on one leg. So I'm going to come back into my chair, and I want to face it with two hands. Always very important as we work to stand on one leg that we have adequate balance. So as we start, we notice that with both feet on the ground, especially after doing all that work, my feet feel very tingly and alive. So let's just press into the ball of the big toe, the little toe, the inner heel, and the outer heel, and really feel that sense of stability. Now going back to the beginning, I'm just going to shift my weight onto one side. From here, I'm just going to roll my heel up off the ground. And now, as I pick up this leg completely, I'm just going to hold this here. The standing leg now has to sustain holding this leg up. I'm not putting it on the floor and just distributing my mass. I'm actually holding almost a weight, really, in the standing hip. So let's start for a few seconds, and then finally we return it down and we're back to the center. It's a lot harder than it looks. So shifting that again, I'm going to press into all four corners of the foot. Engage the muscles around the knee and hip, draw that outer hip in and up, pick up that leg, starting from the toe, ball of the foot, getting into here, and then finally we're up on one leg. And I'm going to start with my two hands on the chair, just working on balance, and then maybe getting light on the chair. For my next progression, I'm going to take one of my hands off. So I shift my weight over again, draw that hip in and up, come up onto the toe, maybe even the tippy toes, picking up from the floor. And now I want to take the opposite hand from my standing leg and take it off the ground. That in itself is going to be a progression towards standing on one leg. And then finally returning it back down. Notice how quickly you return back to normal. Shifting your weight again, two hands to start with, draw that outer hip in and up, engage the muscles around the knee, come up onto the toe, and then shifting into the balance. Let's take the same side hand off on that standing leg and just see how that feels. And then release it. Now we want to progress towards no hands. So I'm starting off kind of light. I'm just going to shift my weight, pick up one leg and balance. We start off with the one hand. And then if you feel really confident, see if you can progress towards no hands, holding that anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds. And then notice how gracefully you come down. If you find yourself collapsing when you come down, you know you have something to work on. And I will say that you're going to have days where your balance is better than others. So again, as we pick up one leg, I start here, now taking one hand off the chair. If possible, two hands off the chair. And the nice thing about having this, if you feel like you're losing your balance, you can always just touch the chair if you need to, and then gracefully coming into the other side. Now from here, as I turn to the side, last exercise, I want to take my standing one leg balance, assuming this is comfortable for me, and now I'm going to add what I'm going to call a dynamic challenge. I'm going to shift my leg forward, which causes me to shift it back, and then shift behind me, which shifts me forward. So I'm shifting it forward and then back. When you're ready, let's take it side to side. And again, have that chair here to balance with. Over time, putting that together, back, front, and side to side. And you can go quickly, you can go slowly, and just notice how well does your foot, your ankle, your knee and hip respond to that motion. And then we change sides. Definitely want to make sure that I have my support right against my standing leg. So first I want to determine, can I stand on one leg? Then I'm picking that up. Now I'm just going to shift that leg forward and back. Shifting it forward, shifting back, noticing how the torso is going in the opposite direction. And then from there, let's work on side to side, working on all these different planes. And just notice how well can you balance. Can you do this without your hands? Try for a couple of seconds, and if you need to, that chair is there. Putting this together, we go back and forth, side to side. And over time, you will notice your balance really changing throughout your daily life. You may even notice that you maybe want to get rid of your shoes sometimes. Walking around in your house barefoot, I highly recommend that you strengthen your foot and ankle. Now, I hope that those exercises helped. Please practice them on a regular basis. Just because I showed you a wide variety of exercises does not mean that all of that is going to be appropriate for any person all the way through at all the times. You have to discern for yourself what's appropriate on a given day. Just be consistent. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe, share it with your friends, and also click the indicator bell so that you have a notification anytime that we put out new content. If you're interested in learning more about this methodology, longer videos, go down to the link below for Fitness Integrated Science TV, my program that has hundreds of videos on many ways to maintain your muscles from head to toe with lots of different intensities, including ongoing education. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.